There's a lot being written right now about Chicago, about its future and the questions that we all have to answer. But when you look at Chicago, what do you see? Do you just see the challenges that we face? Or do you see that the promise of our city is still ahead of us? And that's what we're committed at United Way to doing, finding ways to bring all of us together, regardless of the sector, to make sure that we have an opportunity to meet this moment that we are in and deliver on behalf of our community.
United Neighborhood Equity Fund is a really great example of how United Way has changed their grant making around racial equity. We recognize that a lot of organizations that are doing work on the ground, that are led by Black and Brown leaders, were not receiving the funding that they need to be able to do the really meaningful work that they're doing. And a lot of that was because their operating budgets were so small, they weren't able to meet the criteria of traditional grant making.
When United Way first approached us about the United Neighborhoods Equity Fund, we knew right away that this was a great match for us. We know those organizations provide meaningful impact locally to the folks who live in those neighborhoods, specifically organizations who are led by Black men of color.
Urban Male Network is a male mentorship organization where we provide a positive network for young men of color in the Chicagoland area. For years, I did this part-time, and UNEF provided that opportunity for me to step into doing this role full-time. We have added 5 locations since we've received the funding from UNEF. I'm making more partnerships with city, state, and county agencies so we can ultimately make more of an impact with the young man that we are working with.
The government can't do everything, and we need to have partnerships with philanthropy and the business community if we're going to effectively serve the people of Cook County. In government, we have to figure out how to invest in the communities that have been disinvested in, marginalized, kicked to the curb, and that means you have to have a place-based strategy to address the challenges that those communities face. Clearly, United Way is the gold star entity for a place-based strategy, so the idea of collaboration was clear.
Transforming Places was developed out of the $15 million recommendation from the Cook County Equity Fund to pursue more place-based investment, more specifically in suburban Cook County. In Park Forest, Richton Park, Harvey Network, an expansion of our Blue Island Robbins Network, and Fort Heights, Chicago Heights neighborhood. We have over 10 years of experience with neighborhood networks, and we've seen this model work. And we are working very intentionally with Cook County to help these communities advance towards their visions and their goals.
What we hope we can achieve with Cook County is not only fund new neighborhood networks and establish new coalitions, but also help the county be as responsive to community as they would like to be. We're so excited about the deep partnership that we have with them and are really looking forward to the future.
Clearly, our community is at a crossroads. And the question is, what does our next chapter look like? At United Way, we're committed to being part of that next chapter in which our community thrives, our neighborhoods rise, and our people have the opportunities and access to the resources that they need and deserve. Our job is to bring together the full community, the public sector, the private sector, the nonprofit community, donors, volunteers, everyone who wants to be a part of it, and say, let's make this vision a reality. Our ask to you is to come join us. Join us as leaders in this community to create the region and city that we all know that we want to be a part of. That's what our work is all about.
Welcome back, everybody. You may have heard of the term food desert. Those are places where fresh produce really isn't available. It's often in poor communities. My next guest is a Chicago entrepreneur with a clever solution. He is growing fresh veggies in a shipping container at a fraction of the cost of traditional farming, and it's located in the community, which cuts down on transportation. Even better, he's teaching the next generation about sustainable farming. That makes him a rad human. The after-school special vibe is amazing. Please welcome the founder of Ditto Foods, Derek, everybody. So explain how Ditto Foods works.
So Ditto Foods, well, one thing you said was about a food desert. When we started the business, that was one of the things we wanted to change, was the narrative about a food desert. Because a desert is supposed to be barren. Communities aren't supposed to be barren of food. And so my husband and I started this company, and what we do, we are a hydroponic produce farming company where we grow 3 acres of produce in the back of a 40-foot shipping container.
Yeah.
So I always say it's like you take 3 acres of land, stand it up, compress it, and you put it in the back of a truck. Vertical farming,
Vertical farming is
and it's
where it's at.
hydroponic, so there's no soil. Yeah. We use water as
That's
our
good because
conduit.
we're running out of that, but cool. Yeah.
Which is why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, and working with the kids to teach them about the future of what our food system will most likely be.
Yeah, it could be and should be. But it's been a bumpy road to creating the company, right? It wasn't easy.
Bumpy is an understatement.
Okay, I
Bumpy
kept
is
it
an
nice.
understatement. You
Yeah.
know, keep it nice, keep it nice and clean. So in 2020, I, like many people, was a casualty of the pandemic. I've always worked in food, and so when I lost my job, I knew that I had to do something. And so I knew it had to be with food, and I knew it had to do something with giving back to the community. And so I went to my husband and said, I think I want to be a farmer.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, that's like...
what he did. He
that's
laughed
like,
at me.
I don't know, that's some sexy talk. That's foreplay for me.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying? Somebody walks and says, I want to be a farmer, I'll be like, what's up?
I don't think he
What's up? Like,
I don't think he thought that because we lived in a townhouse at the time.
who cares? It's so sexy. You want to do something like that?
Yeah. I went to him and said, I want to be a farmer. He looked at me like I had lost my mind. And so I started the process of going down this rabbit hole of trying to become a farmer and happened upon this idea of growing food in the shipping container. And we went to 25 banks. 25 banks told us no. So it was like one after the next, no. And as I always say, the universe spins in my direction. And the second no that we got, 6 months later, called us and was like, I know we couldn't do it, but I have a colleague at another bank that might be able to help you out.
When does that happen? Yeah.
God made it happen. That's what happened. And that was our one yes.
Wow.
That was our one yes. So.
And you also had a house fire happen.
Yeah.
There's just like hurdle after hurdle after hurdle.
Yeah, so that's 2020. Last year, 2023, was one hell of a year. It was, started the year off with, we lost our first crop of the year because we had an electrical issue. And then July, our house caught fire. And then my husband lost his job. Then my son had to be hospitalized. And it was just one thing after the next. And so I'm always find the lesson. And the lesson was persistence. Just keep going, keep going. And now, 2024, I'm on the Kelly Clarkson show.
So that is a lot to go through. And then I think if you're pushing through and you're still doing what you love, that's meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Like
it has to.
Yeah, those roots have
happen.
to be there. So what are your plans beyond, like for the company?
So future, the future of Ditto Foods is, the whole thing about Ditto is the reciprocity. So, because if I say Ditto to you, that's an agreement that we just made. And the future of this, the farm itself is the beginning of a bigger plan. We're working with the Cornerstone Community Development Corporation, which is this community center in Fort Heights that's been around for 50 years. They're helping homeless people. They're doing anti-hunger. They're working with folks that were recently released from incarceration, get back into the workforce.
Wow.
And so the work that we're doing with them is about building this ecosystem of businesses and bringing it to the community and having my hometown of Fort Heights, what's up Fort Heights, be the model of what we do in communities just like it.
Yeah.
And so we really want this to be our incubator, so to speak.
So cool. Well, our friends at ConAgra passionately believe in Derek's mission to provide his community consistent access to nutritious food. That is why, to help him grow Ditto Foods, see what we did there, they're giving the Cornerstone Community Development Corporation $10,000 just to help out. We love what you're doing. It's very cool. The teaching is the best part, man. So cool.
Free range, and the yolk is the dark orange color. It's not dark still put it out there already, so it's going on. That's what we were pushing for to get. Oh yeah, I go. What you call their school? The chef. I have like 23 years.
You know what the challenge is for minorities in the restaurant industry when you bump up, when I talk about the cook level, when you do the actual service, the union has a lot of control. Like guys that work in the hotel, it's rough. But they still make good money in comparison to people that work at Iron Skillet. But I'm just saying, to get that six-figure, you got to be plugged in comparison. Otherwise, you probably, because it's all based on tenure, and it's all based on nepotism.
So somebody has to supervise those culinary supervisors, and those, once you get in that supervisor, then the
Right,
union
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, once you get that level, then you're cool. You just got to be.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harry Lennox. You may know me from the movie The Five Heartbeats and the NBC TV series The Blacklist. While these are both great chapters in my life, I was raised in Chicago, with all the Chicagoland regions being near and dear to my heart. Today, I'd like to share a little about the great work of Cornerstone Community Development Corporation, located in the community of Ford Heights, Illinois. Founded in 1968, Cornerstone's core mission is to improve the quality of life for the underprivileged and to assist vulnerable populations in times of crisis, emphasizing emergency, supportive, and educational services to individuals and families until they stabilize. The agency practices a one-stop approach to service delivery with a mission to stabilize, sustain, and empower the lives of the thousands of individuals and families they serve each year. Cornerstone has implemented outreach and community awareness programs, established a robust older adults program, an outstanding workforce development and employment assistance program, as well as a vast array of other support services. Cornerstone is also the lead for the Ford Heights Chicago Heights Neighborhood Network, better known as the Higher Heights Initiative. HHI's mission is to bridge the gap in creating much-needed partnerships and collaborations between community members, not-for-profit and private sector businesses. HHI's goal is to enhance services, partnerships, and resources for residents of the communities. And finally, Cornerstone's Securing Opportunities for Success Workforce Development Initiative offers certifications and training which include construction, industrial and hospitality sectors. Training opportunities include construction flagger, forklift operator, environmental abatement, armed and unarmed security, residential electrical wiring, commercial drone piloting, and heavy construction equipment operation with the help of state-of-the-art simulators, allowing students to gain realistic hands-on experience and develop muscle memory in a safe environment under instructor supervision. Enrollment is now open, and all participants are required to complete core classes such as workforce safety, job readiness, housing counseling, and financial capability. For more information, visit Cornerstone's website at www.cornerstone-cdc.org.